like going back, if you could start all over again, you're talking to like an 18-year-old coming out of high school, and they're thinking like, I don't want to go the college route. I want to be more of an entrepreneur. Like, would you say, like, okay, like the business specifically that you're in, would you say like, hey, yeah, this is a good business to try? Or would you say, nope, avoid it, go get, W-2 job? What's this show called?
It's your show.
What's going on, guys? It is Kyle and Clayton, the infamous man who brings all the views to my channel. We're just talking about that. So first of all, this video is gonna be a little bit longer than typical. It's gonna be more of like just kind of a conversation. We're gonna ramble about kind of what we got going on. But we were just talking about how the dumpster business, which a lot of you probably follow me because of my videos about his business, so like they just get the most views. Not only do the dumpster videos, but also like the hot shot videos. They get guys with trucks.
I think it's just a nice niche.
It's just a fascination. Like people are like, I don't know, fascinated by that business. Why? Why do you think?
I think people have smartened up, honestly, and they're looking for new ways to make money. And not that that's easy money by any means. I mean, it's nice money if you do it right, but you can mess up and lose a lot. But I think people are just seeing, hey, I have a truck. I could get that trailer. Yeah. Well, I could do that, and they're trying to find ways to make this side hustle money. Sometimes those side hustles then blow up to be full-time businesses, and sometimes they just stay side hustles.
So when you got into this, it wasn't necessarily like, this is going to become my full-time job, right? It was kind of like, it was a side hustle.
It was totally a side hustle. When I first started, I had one dumpster, and I was flipping that house in Springfield. I had two houses I was working on at the same time.
You bought a duplex, you were house hacking that one, then you bought a flip house, right?
Yeah, I bought a single family home, and I was looking at dumpster prices, and then I saw the dump trailers and dumpster roll-off trailers, and I said, well, I'll try it and then rent it out when I'm not using it.
It's funny because I don't even remember, like I remember when you started the business, but I don't remember you talking about it. Like, hey, Kyle, I think I'm going to start this business. Because I'm surprised I didn't say, Clayton, you're an idiot, don't do this.
Oh, you're not the only one. I had a couple buddies who, I was trying to get recommendations on like what kind of truck to use and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, you're not a truck guy, Clayton. Like, what are you doing?
This kid, like all through high school, was like almost like the punk kid who wanted to drive like the
fastest car.
Yeah, the
Fast and Furious.
You wanted like a GTR.
Oh yeah, it's on the list.
I remember because your first truck you got was the Ford F-250, right?
For this business, yeah. I had an F-250,
which was a pile.
It was actually awesome. I love that truck. I think that truck was really nice. I just ran it hard. I mean, I didn't run it hard. I didn't beat it up, but what I was putting it through, because in Springfield at the time there had been some tornadoes and some hail damage that kind of all happened at once. So when I kind of started the business, very shortly after, I had a couple of roofers come to me, and all they wanted was I wasn't renting my dumpsters residentially. Mm-hmm. I was one roofer, and then I was doing sometimes 2 roofs a day with these guys, and
isn't that like
that's a lot of weight?
Yeah, that's like the most abusive thing that you can put in your...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the most abusive thing for the trailer, probably, and then add on top of it, that F-250, it was pulling some stuff. And if anybody's ever been to Springfield, I know it's not Colorado, but if you get over into, what's that tourist trap called?
I've never really been to Springfield.
Oh, Silver Dollar City. In that area, I mean, there are some just mountainous hills.
Is that in that area, Springfield?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I traveled pretty far for some of those gigs when I was getting started. So, I think it was Silver Dollar City. But anyway, I mean, there was parts of those grades that I was going up, and I'm going, man, I really hope the turbo doesn't just explode on this. It never did. But
why did you end up upgrading? I mean, did it get to the point where I'm like...
There were some times where I was just like, okay, do I want to be serious about this, or do I want to keep this a side hustle? Mm-hmm. And then there were some times where those loads would get so heavy, and I'd be driving and hitting the brakes.
I remember that.
I remember a couple people being in my car when I would have a heavy load, and it was usually roof, and all of a sudden the whole truck starts to shake, and like your hat's coming off, and you're terrified because you're coming up to a red light in the rain, and your truck's shaking. I'm not gonna say I did all of this right, like from the beginning, like no way.
You figured it out.
I figured it out like luckily I never figured it out the hard way. Like I never, hurt anybody, hurt myself, broke anything major.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. But I mean, yeah, anybody who wants to start it, I would definitely look into it very carefully, learn from other people's mistakes. That's the nice thing is, if I would have dug a little deeper, I would have probably found a lot of my answers.
That's not who you are, though.
No.
Like, you just full on send it into something.
No, and that's part of the problem is I could have just kind of done what all these other people are doing when they're watching your videos and mine and been like, okay, what do I would not want to make the mistake of? Because then the next truck I bought, even though I love that truck, it's a great truck, also put me into a Class A CDL.
The Dodge.
Yeah, the Dodge, which it is 100% worth it because I don't have the drama of driving that I had with that F-250. You don't want drama driving something. You don't want to always be like overloaded on your truck. Your trailer, you don't want to overload either, but you don't want your truck to struggle to get something done because also you're just beating up your equipment. I would rather have a piece of equipment that could overperform and is way more than I need for the situation than always be like pushing its limits. And that 7.3 Ford was awesome because it let me push the limits a lot. But I mean, I think I was adding like a quart of oil to that every other day.
Not only is it hard on your vehicles and like equipment, but it's hard on yourself, like because you're always stressed out.
I was so stressed.
I would be stressed to the max.
I had one incident shortly after I bought my new truck where I was coming up to a light and it was green, and so it was kind of one of those, I started to brake and then I started to go again, and I mean it was down a hill. I was doing easily 40-50 miles an hour, and just some dude was not paying attention and he just ran the light, and I slammed the brakes and everything locked up perfect. Trailer locked up, my truck locked up, and I thought and it was a heavy load, and I thought to myself, if I would have had my old truck, I would have sent it straight through that person.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, granted, it would have been their fault. It would still.
And you better hope, people, if you have one of these businesses, if you would have hit him and you weren't legal, you would have been screwed.
At that time, I was mostly legal.
You've always been legal.
I've always been legal. I am 100% good to go now. But at that time, I had the commercial insurance and everything. And you know what? I wouldn't have had to worry about CDL or anything, but the whole DOT stuff, I started to learn more about that.
So let me ask you this, because you've been dabbling now in like both real estate and this business. Like for the viewers out there, if someone's looking for more of a, like I feel like a lot of the views on these videos come from like, oh, we want to make money,
Yeah, and that's one thing I would really recommend somebody go look at the Get Rich Quick episode on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's super interesting. It talks about the history of like the Get Rich Quick scheme, and I thought that was so interesting because it's just this continuing thing that happens to all of us. Generation to generation, you have the Ponzi scheme, the pyramid scheme, there's so many of them.
It started out with like selling snake oil and
all
those medicines.
Let's get all my people to join in and do this, or there's just so many different ones, and it's been done in such big scales that I think people are, and this is nothing to the viewers because I was always looking for how can I invest my money properly and make money.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm always looking for it, but be weary of the gurus and that kind of stuff because, to my point, there's a lot of people that will tell you where to put your money, and that you'll get this great return. Not everybody's going to be a trash man millionaire. I probably won't be either, but you need to be careful.
It's the same with real estate, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel
the more people that watch us buy real estate want to get into it, and then they realize, oh, this is hard. Not what I thought.
And it's hard to make money in real estate too.
Yeah, especially right now.
I feel like there's so many gurus on YouTube and whatever. Like, let's wholesale this house real quick and make $100,000.
But they don't show any of the background
Yeah.
and the fact that they already had somebody lined up before the video and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I always tell people is, okay, just to kind of storyline it, I had my W-2 job. My W-2 job funded my side hustle. My side hustle then funded my real estate. But then I also kind of, as I got that real estate, that money then got reinvested into my side hustle to grow my side hustle. That side hustle slowly became my full-time job. My W-2 job now became my commission job because now I'm only doing mortgage loans. I'm a mortgage lender, don't forget. Yeah. I only do those like on, when I get the time. I work ridiculously weird hours. But I'll do mortgage loans, but then now I'm this full-time trash man. So I went to college and I became a trash man. And then I have the real estate on the side. I mean, you and I were just looking at 2 properties I'm looking to buy because I just sold one in St. Louis. So I guess somebody finally pointed out to me a couple of weeks ago. I was like, you're just an entrepreneur. Because everybody's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a trash man, mortgage lender, landlord. And that's weird.
And he calls me like once a week and like, hey, I got this new idea.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas.
But I mean, one thing to point out, like, for instance, like your storage containers.
Yeah.
Like that's a work in progress. Like that.
Yeah,
that
that's
part
something
of your
I could
business,
definitely work harder on.
But like you're trying it. Like you just jumped in,
Dabbled
you're trying it, and until you try, you don't know, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing about the whole trailer market and all this stuff right now is I'm doing it at a good time because I could just be like, yeah, this sucks.
Sell it.
And I could sell it, and I wouldn't lose a lot right now. And I mean, COVID, metal prices, all that is, and shortages of whatever has kind of made that a sustainable thing, but who knows how long that'll be.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so let me finish up with this. So like going back, if you could start all over again, you're talking to like an 18-year-old coming out of high school and they're thinking like, I don't want to go the college route. I want to be more of an entrepreneur. Like, would you say, like, okay, like the business specifically that you're in, would you say like, hey, yeah, this is a good business to try? Or would you say, nope, avoid it, go get, W-2 job?
I guess it depends on your end goal, because one thing that people need to consider is when you get a W-2 job, like right out of college or right out of high school, one thing that really helps you out is if you want to buy a house later, that's a really easy way to go buy a house afterwards. I mean, most of your mortgage lenders typically are going to be more lenient with the person with a W-2 job income. The person who's self-employed, you need like 2 years of really good, performing income to go buy a house. So it depends on what route you want to go. Do you already have a house? Do you not need a house? Are you going to rent? You need to like kind of keep all those things in mind. My situation just kind of fell together really well because I had the W-2 job, then, got the house, then I got into the real estate. And the thing I like about the real estate is, for me at least, that's the passive income, right? That's the end goal. My side hustle / full-time job now as being a dumpster, trash man, whatever, is I call it hybrid income, because it's not passive income, right? Because I have to work, I have to spend my time moving dumpsters around, but sometimes those dumpsters are sitting for a week.
Yeah.
8, 9 of them are sitting for a week at a time, or 2 to 3 days at a time. So it's like I drop it and I forget it, but I'm getting paid in my sleep while that happens. And I'm spending, 1 or 2 hours to finish the end of work. So I call that hybrid income.
I don't think there's
There's not really a term for that.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, it's a good point. It is kind of like a hybrid. But like, I don't even really think there's such a thing as real true passive income.
No, because even as you being a landlord pretty much full time, I see you take phone calls all the time, or I gotta call that person back, I gotta do this first. If you're gonna be a landlord, you better expect that if you're like full bore, all I do is real estate, you're working.
Yeah.
Nobody isn't, unless they have a property management company that is doing everything for them, and they don't have to worry about how much money they're losing on their bottom line. Yeah, that's all there is to it. But that's the kind of thing I like. But eventually, that hybrid income, the sooner that becomes passive, for me is kind of the goal.
Well, it's kind of like it's your machine that's pumping the cash then to be able to buy the real estate, right?
Exactly.
Because if you don't have money,
it takes money to make money.
Well,
right?
As much as the gurus on Facebook or on YouTube and Instagram say you don't need money in real estate, which Sure, there's definitely ways that you can get into real
There's
estate,
ways.
but it is pretty tough.
It's really hard.
Pretty dang easy when you have money to invest in real estate to do it. But you know, so it's like that's kind of like your machine. To where my machine is like selling real estate as a realtor. That's kind of like my way to generate quick cash, and then also like flipping properties. Like I just flipped a mobile home recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The sooner you do that, then you just reinvest that into something that's more passive.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think if somebody's looking to do something full time, they need to have an exit plan. You can't. I mean, I've met some guys who've been doing this for what I have just discovered, the trash industry or whatever. Have been doing it for 20, 30 years. They're 70 years old and they're doing it. That's awesome, but that's also not my goal. My goal is to build it, either hire somebody to do it eventually, or to sell it and then invest it into something passive. Because time freedom to me is really important, at least in the long run. Right now, my wife would argue otherwise, because all I'm doing is running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
It's it's a season.
Exactly. I mean, in terms of life, as long as I don't get hit by a bus here soon, it is just a season and in the end of it.
Well, you have to go run a dumpster. You said at 3
what
o'clock, so you got 1 minute.
Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yep. I told him at 3:15, so we're good.
All right, guys. Well, again, this is kind of like a longer episode. We might do this, once a month or something. Maybe we'll get on like a series or something. But he's got a couple of properties he's looking at right now, so maybe we'll film a video, potentially upcoming at one of his future purchases.
I got what? What is today?
It's
November.
the 4th, I think.
Ooh, if I buy it before the end of the year, that would help.
Yeah.
Bring down that income.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys haven't gone and checked out his channel, which I convinced him, I'm going to take all the
You can take the credit.
Take the credit for his future fame because his channel is going like this. Mine's kind of going like this.
Yeah, but you have, what, 6 times the subscribers?
I also been doing this for like a year and a half.
Well, yeah.
So, but anyways, thanks for watching. Go check out his channel. Link down below. We'll see you next time.